Have you ever imagined what it would be like to live alone in your later years? For some, the thought can be daunting, conjuring feelings of loneliness or fear of the unknown. For others, though, the idea represents the chance to embrace a new chapter of life, filled with fresh opportunities and unexpected freedoms. As we age, living alone often brings with it a sense of independence that may have been hard to find in earlier years. It's a time to rediscover hobbies, explore new interests, and make decisions based solely on personal desires rather than the needs of others. The ability to come and go as you please, to spend your time how you want, can feel incredibly empowering, but there's more to this experience than just the good moments. While living alone in old age can be liberating, it also comes with challenges that require resilience and adaptability. It may mean learning to navigate a changing world of technology, managing finances, or dealing with physical limitations. And sometimes, it might even involve confronting moments of solitude that force us to reflect on life's deeper questions. But these challenges, when faced head-on, often lead to profound personal growth. In this video, we'll explore 10 things that living alone in old age makes us do. Things that push us out of our comfort zones and teach us valuable lessons about resilience, independence, and embracing change. We'll also hear real-life stories of people who faced these experiences firsthand. Some stories are heartwarming, filled with moments of joy and connection, while others are challenging but ultimately transformative. These insights will not only inspire you, but they will also give you a better understanding of the power of living independently and how it can shape the final stages of life in ways you may not expect. So, let's dive deep into these lessons. What does it really mean to live alone in our later years? And what can we learn from those who have chosen this path? Stick around as we explore these questions and more. If you find these insights helpful and inspiring, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Senior Life Unlocked, for more stories, tips, and guidance on navigating the complexities of aging. Your journey is unique, and we're here to help you make the most of it. Don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button now, and join a community of people embracing the beauty of life at every age. 1. Reconnecting with ourselves. The first thing that living alone allows us to do is reconnect with ourselves. And for many, this is a profound, transformative experience. Take Margaret's story, for example. When her husband passed, she was left in a whirlwind of uncertainty. After years of marriage and shared experiences, she found herself alone for the first time in decades. She moved into a small apartment, and initially, the silence was overwhelming. The empty rooms echoed with the absence of familiar voices, and she felt unsure of how to fill the hours that now stretched endlessly before her. It seemed like a daunting prospect. How could she find purpose in solitude? However, as time passed, something remarkable happened. Margaret began to realize that being alone didn't mean being lonely. It was, in fact, an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. The silence, once uncomfortable, became a space for peace and clarity. She rediscovered old passions that had long been buried under the demands of daily life and family responsibilities. One of the most beautiful discoveries was her love for gardening. As she planted seeds and nurtured flowers, she not only found joy in the act of creation but also in the deeper connection she felt to the world around her. With each bloom, Margaret's confidence grew. She filled her time with activities that brought her fulfillment, like reading, painting, and spending time outdoors. Slowly, she stopped looking at solitude as a void to be filled and began to see it as a chance to nurture her own well-being and explore her true self. Her journey is a powerful reminder that living alone, while initially challenging, offers us the opportunity to rediscover who we are beyond the roles and relationships that have shaped our lives. It's in these quiet moments of introspection that we begin to reconnect with the person we were before the world around us demanded so much. Living alone doesn't erase who we are. Instead, it provides the space to peel back the layers of life's distractions and rediscover the core of our identity. It's through this process of self-discovery that we find not just comfort and solitude, but joy. The world can feel so much richer when we have the chance to explore it at our own pace, with no one else's expectations but our own guiding us forward. Margaret's story is just one example, but countless individuals find that living alone opens the door to creativity, personal growth, and a renewed sense of purpose. So, what happens when we allow ourselves to truly be alone? We realize that the company we've been seeking all along was always within us. And that, in itself, is a beautiful discovery. 2. Developing new routines. Living alone presents a unique opportunity to create routines that are completely our own, without the influence of others' schedules or expectations. For many, this can be a transformative experience, especially when it comes to embracing a slower, more mindful pace of life. Take John, for example, a retired engineer who spent decades waking up early, rushing to work, and adhering to a strict routine dictated by his job. When he retired and moved into a quiet apartment, he found himself faced with a new kind of freedom, but also the challenge of adapting to a life without the structure of work. At first, John felt unsure of how to fill his time. He had spent most of his adult life following a regimented schedule. And now, without the pressures of his job, he wondered what a fulfilling day would look like. But as the weeks passed, he realized that he could create a rhythm to his day that was all his own, something that would nourish him both physically and mentally. John began his mornings with something he had never made time for before: leisurely coffee. No more rushing through breakfast or gulping down his coffee while running out the door. Now, he could sit in his cozy kitchen, savoring the warmth of the cup and the quiet of the morning. He discovered that these moments of peace set the tone for the rest of his day. Afterward, he would go for a walk around his neighborhood, taking in the sights and sounds of his surroundings. He found joy in the simple act of moving his body, something he had taken for granted during his years of busy work life. One of his favorite new routines was reading the newspaper each morning. John had always been interested in current events but had never made time to truly immerse himself in the news. Now, with the luxury of time, he could sip his coffee and read the paper in its entirety, enjoying the slower pace of absorbing information without feeling rushed. These simple but meaningful routines helped John carve out a sense of structure and purpose in his day. He realized that living alone didn't mean living aimlessly. Instead, it allowed him to be the architect of his own time. Each routine became a small ritual that brought peace and fulfillment, reminding him that there was no need to rush anymore. Living at his own pace gave him the space to reflect, recharge, and appreciate the quieter moments that had once been overshadowed by the demands of his career. John's story is a powerful reminder that, by developing our own routines, we can find freedom in simplicity. The time we once spent fulfilling obligations or adhering to external expectations can now be spent on activities that bring us joy and a sense of accomplishment. By taking control of our days, we not only regain a sense of independence but also learn to appreciate the beauty of life's small, everyday moments. 3. Becoming more self-reliant. Living alone often requires us to take on responsibilities that we may have previously delegated to others. And for many, this can be a powerful catalyst for personal growth and independence. Arthur's story is a perfect example of how living alone can encourage self-reliance and transform what might initially seem like challenges into opportunities for self-discovery. At 68, Arthur faced a major life shift when his wife passed away. For many years, they had shared responsibilities, with his wife handling many of the household tasks while Arthur focused on other areas of life. But with her passing, he found himself alone, suddenly responsible for everything that once seemed effortless. At first, this overwhelming sense of responsibility felt like a daunting task. He had never been much of a cook, and simple household repairs were something he had never had to think about. But necessity is a powerful teacher. Arthur, determined to manage on his own, turned to online tutorials for guidance. The first dish he tried was a simple pasta recipe, something that seemed easy enough but also represented a larger challenge. He had never cooked much, and the kitchen had always been more of a place for occasional meals than a space for culinary creativity. But as he followed the steps in the video, he was surprised by the sense of accomplishment that came with creating something from scratch. That basic pasta dish was just the beginning. He grew more confident, and soon he was cooking a wide range of meals, experimenting with new recipes, and even discovering a new passion for food. One of the most rewarding aspects of this newfound self-reliance was the pride it gave Arthur. He jokes that his late wife would be impressed with how far he had come in the kitchen. This process of learning, failing, and succeeding was not only about acquiring a new skill, it was about regaining confidence in his ability to handle life's challenges on his own. From cooking meals to fixing leaky faucets, Arthur found a deep sense of satisfaction in knowing that he was fully capable of managing his own life. This journey of self-reliance didn't just stop with the kitchen. Arthur found himself tackling tasks that he had once avoided, embracing the idea that if he could figure out how to cook a complicated recipe, he could manage anything life threw his way. It was empowering to know that he was in control, and that sense of autonomy became a core part of his everyday life. Arthur's story is a powerful reminder that living alone often pushes us to become more self-reliant. And in doing so, we discover abilities we didn't know we had. It's in these moments of challenge and growth that we build confidence, resilience, and a sense of accomplishment. What may seem like an obstacle at first can, in time, become a source of pride, teaching us that we are more capable than we realize. 4. Rediscovering hobbies. For many older adults, living alone offers a valuable opportunity to reconnect with hobbies and passions that had been pushed aside in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Often, the demands of family, work, and other obligations leave little time for personal interests. But when those responsibilities lessen, the space to rediscover ourselves opens up. For Carol, a retired woman in her 70s, living alone became the perfect moment to revisit a part of her life she had long put on hold: her love for painting. Carol had always been drawn to creativity. As a young woman, she enjoyed painting, but over the years, the pressures of work and raising a family made it difficult to find the time or energy for it. Like many, she had to set aside personal interests in favor of other priorities. But once she retired and found herself living alone, something changed. She started to feel a deep yearning for the creative outlet she had once enjoyed. And she realized it was time to reconnect with that part of herself. The idea of returning to painting, however, seemed daunting at first. Would she still be good at it? Was it too late to begin again? But Carol soon discovered that the joy of painting had never left her. It had just been waiting for the right time to resurface. She enrolled in art classes, eager to refine her skills and gain new techniques. She even transformed a corner of her home into a makeshift art studio, creating a space that reflected her personal creativity and allowed her to fully immerse herself in her art. The act of painting became more than just a hobby. It was a form of self-expression and a way to rediscover the joy that had always been there. As Carol picked up her brushes and began creating again, she felt a sense of fulfillment and peace that had been missing for years. She painted landscapes, abstract pieces, and portraits, each work a reflection of her personal journey and the fulfillment she had found in her later years. What started as a way to pass the time soon became a central part of her life, giving her not only joy but also a new sense of purpose. Carol's story serves as a powerful reminder that it's never too late to revisit old passions or explore new ones. The freedom that comes with living alone offers a unique opportunity to dive into creative pursuits, develop new skills, and experience the fulfillment of engaging in activities that nourish the soul. Whether it's painting, writing, gardening, or learning a musical instrument, the possibilities are endless. Rediscovering hobbies is not just about filling time, it's about reconnecting with who we truly are. And sometimes, even finding parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. For Carol, her journey into painting wasn't just about creating art, it was about creating a new chapter of life. One filled with personal growth, joy, and self-expression. Living alone has allowed her to nurture her creativity and embrace the freedom to explore her passions. And in doing so, she has reminded us all that it's never too late to rediscover the things that bring us happiness. 5. Building meaningful relationships. One of the common misconceptions about living alone is that it leads to loneliness and isolation. However, many people find that living independently actually provides the opportunity to nurture and strengthen their relationships with others. Without the distractions of daily responsibilities, such as caregiving or managing a household, living alone can create space to focus on what truly matters: connections with family, friends, and loved ones. Take Doris, for example. After many years of caring for her family and managing her home, Doris found that when she moved into her own place, she had more time to invest in her relationships. She wasn't caught up in the day-to-day tasks that once consumed her time and energy. As a result, she was able to be more present for her children and friends, engaging in deeper conversations and truly connecting with them in ways she hadn't been able to before. The absence of constant responsibilities allowed her to prioritize relationships, and in doing so, her connections with loved ones grew stronger. Doris found that living alone gave her the opportunity to foster genuine, meaningful relationships, which brought her great joy and fulfillment. James, a retired school teacher and self-proclaimed introvert, experienced a similar transformation. Before retiring and living alone, James had always been content with a quieter, more solitary lifestyle. However, after retirement, he recognized that his social connections had become more superficial over time. Determined to improve his social life, he made a conscious effort to reach out to his friends, and he soon started hosting weekly game nights at his home. These simple gatherings became an essential part of his routine, offering him the chance to bond with friends over shared activities and laughter. For James, the quality of his relationships improved significantly when he took the time to cultivate them. And he found that these social interactions, while small in scale, provided a rich sense of connection and happiness. Both Doris and James found that living alone did not have to mean being lonely. In fact, it allowed them to focus on the people who truly mattered and make time for meaningful interactions. Living alone provided them with the mental and emotional space to nurture relationships. Whether it was by having uninterrupted conversations with loved ones or by intentionally carving out time for social activities with friends. The experience of living alone can teach us that relationships require attention and intention. When we no longer have the distractions of other obligations, we can truly focus on what matters, being present for the people we care about and building lasting, authentic connections. Doris and James's stories highlight that living independently can be a powerful way to reconnect with others and create a fulfilling, supportive social network. It's not the quantity of relationships that matters, but the depth of the connections we cultivate. 6. Facing loneliness and embracing solitude. When it comes to living alone, one of the most common concerns that people face is loneliness. It's a natural fear. Many assume that living alone means being isolated, disconnected, and lonely. But it's important to distinguish between loneliness and solitude. While loneliness can feel like an overwhelming sense of emptiness or yearning for connection, solitude is something entirely different. Solitude, when embraced, can become a peaceful and fulfilling space for self-reflection and personal growth. Anna's story beautifully highlights this distinction and how living alone can offer a chance to reconnect with ourselves. Anna, a woman in her 60s, was initially apprehensive about living on her own after the loss of her spouse. She was afraid that the quiet of her home would magnify feelings of loneliness and that she might struggle with the silence that came with being alone. At first, there were moments when the solitude felt heavy, especially in the evenings when the house seemed too quiet, and memories of the past lingered. But as time passed, Anna began to recognize the difference between loneliness and solitude. She realized that while loneliness might occasionally arise, it didn't define her experience of living alone. Solitude, she found, could be a source of peace. It was in these quiet moments that she began to reconnect with herself in a way that had been difficult before. With no distractions or demands from others, Anna discovered the power of reflection. She started taking walks in nature, using the time to meditate and reflect on her life. She realized that the stillness allowed her to process her thoughts, reflect on the past, and find clarity about her future. Solitude also provided Anna with the opportunity for self-care. She created new rituals, like practicing yoga in the mornings or reading books that nourished her soul. These activities not only helped fill the time but also brought a sense of calm and fulfillment that she hadn't known she needed. Over time, Anna learned that being alone didn't mean she had to be lonely. Instead, she saw it as an invitation to focus inward, heal, and nurture herself. Anna's journey is a powerful reminder that while loneliness may occasionally appear, it's not the same as being alone. Solitude, when embraced, can be an opportunity for growth, self-care, and deep reflection. Living alone doesn't have to be a source of isolation. It can become a time to rediscover your passions, embrace your own company, and create a peaceful life built on your own terms. The key is to change how we view solitude, seeing it not as something to fear but as a chance to reconnect with who we truly are. Through this shift, we can find comfort in our own company and create meaningful, enriching lives even when we are by ourselves. 7. Creating a personalized living space. One of the most powerful aspects of living alone is the freedom to transform your home into a space that truly reflects who you are. When you live with others, your living space often becomes a compromise, shaped by the needs and preferences of everyone involved. But when you live on your own, your home can become a deeply personal sanctuary, a place where you can express yourself without limitation. This opportunity to design and personalize your surroundings is a rewarding and empowering experience, offering not only comfort but also a sense of ownership and pride. Paul, for example, found the opportunity to redesign his living space after his divorce to be a cathartic and transformative experience. After years of living in a shared space, Paul was now on his own, and he wanted his new apartment to reflect his personal tastes and interests. He filled the walls with vintage posters from his favorite movies, creating a fun and nostalgic atmosphere. His bookshelves, once a hodgepodge of various items, were now neatly arranged, showcasing his love for literature and giving his apartment a sense of warmth and individuality. The process of selecting each item for his apartment, whether it was a quirky piece of furniture or a cherished photograph, allowed Paul to create a space that felt uniquely his. It became a reflection of his personality, a comforting place where he could relax and recharge, and a symbol of his new chapter in life. Similarly, Evelyn, after the passing of her husband, found herself living alone in a home that once belonged to both of them. At first, the space felt heavy with memories, and she struggled with the thought of making changes. But as time passed, Evelyn realized that reimagining her home would be a way for her to reclaim it as her own. She began by rearranging the furniture and adding new pieces that brought her joy and reflected her tastes. She replaced old, worn-out items with fresh, modern decor that made her feel more at peace in her space. Her redecoration wasn't just about making the home look aesthetically pleasing, it was an act of healing and reinvention, helping her move forward while honoring the past. For both Paul and Evelyn, the act of designing and redesigning their living spaces was not just about decorating, it was about creating an environment that fostered comfort, healing, and personal expression. The freedom to curate a space based on their own preferences gave them a renewed sense of control over their lives. They were able to step into a new chapter, surrounded by elements that reflected their identity and aspirations. Living alone offers the opportunity to turn your home into a reflection of who you are, a place where you can feel truly at ease and in control. Whether it's through rearranging furniture, adding personal artwork, or simply creating a space that evokes warmth and comfort, the process of designing your living environment can be deeply satisfying. It allows you to embrace your individuality and design a space that not only meets your physical needs but also nurtures your emotional well-being. In this way, your home becomes more than just a place to live, it becomes a sanctuary where you can truly thrive. 8. Practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Living alone can often provide the space and opportunity to connect more deeply with the present moment, allowing individuals to cultivate mindfulness and gratitude. These practices not only enhance daily life but also contribute significantly to mental and emotional well-being. Many people who live alone find that they are better able to savor the small, everyday moments that might otherwise go unnoticed, leading to a greater appreciation for the simple things in life. Helen, for example, found that living alone gave her the time to truly focus on her surroundings and experiences. Before moving into her own space, she had always been caught up in the hustle of work, family responsibilities, and the noise of daily life. But in her quiet home, she discovered a new appreciation for the small tasks and moments that once felt mundane. She learned to savor her meals, taking time to enjoy each bite without rushing. Folding laundry became a calming ritual, allowing her to feel grounded and present. She began to notice how the simple act of sitting in her favorite chair, with a cup of tea in hand, could bring a sense of peace. It was in these ordinary, quiet moments that Helen realized the power of mindfulness, the ability to be fully present and grateful for whatever was in front of her. Similarly, David, an older adult who had been living alone for several years, discovered the transformative power of gratitude. In the past, he had often focused on what he didn't have or what was missing in his life. But once he embraced the practice of writing in a gratitude journal, he began to shift his perspective. Every evening, David would write down 3 things he was grateful for that day, whether it was a kind gesture from a neighbor, a beautiful sunset, or the comfort of his favorite chair. At first, the entries were simple, but over time, he started to notice the depth of the joys he had been overlooking. His gratitude journal became a tool for not only reflecting on the good in his life but also for cultivating a more positive mindset. It helped him reframe challenges, focus on the present, and find contentment in even the smallest of joys. Both Helen and David's stories highlight the profound impact that mindfulness and gratitude can have when practiced consistently. For Helen, mindfulness allowed her to truly experience and enjoy the moments she had previously rushed through. For David, gratitude shifted his focus from what was lacking to what was abundant in his life. These practices are more than just fleeting habits, they are powerful tools for enhancing one's overall well-being. Especially when living alone, they allow individuals to form a deeper connection with themselves, their environment, and the present moment. Living alone offers the perfect environment for mindfulness and gratitude to thrive. With fewer distractions and more time for reflection, it becomes easier to slow down and appreciate life's simple pleasures. Whether it's enjoying a quiet meal, taking a walk, or simply pausing to reflect on what you are thankful for, these practices can help foster a sense of peace, fulfillment, and joy. Embracing mindfulness and gratitude in daily life can not only improve your mental and emotional health but also transform the way you experience the world around you. 9. Taking charge of health and well-being. Living alone often presents a unique opportunity to take full control over one's health and well-being. With no one else to rely on or manage their daily routines, individuals living alone find themselves empowered to prioritize their physical and mental health in ways that suit their personal needs and lifestyle. The autonomy that comes with living independently can serve as a catalyst for positive change, motivating people to take better care of themselves and invest time and energy into improving their overall health. For George, living alone after many years of sharing space with others became the perfect opportunity to focus on his physical health. He had always led a sedentary lifestyle, often putting off exercise due to the busyness of family life. But once he moved into his own home, George decided to take a proactive approach to his health. He started walking daily, using the quiet time to clear his mind and improve his fitness. Initially, his walks were short, just around his neighborhood, but over time, he noticed an improvement in his energy levels, stamina, and overall mood. His walks became a daily ritual, one he eagerly anticipated each morning. Not only did this routine boost his physical health, but it also led to unexpected social benefits. George joined a local walking group, where he met new friends and found a sense of community. The combination of daily exercise and social interaction helped him feel more connected and vibrant. And it was the direct result of his decision to take charge of his health while living alone. Similarly, Monica, a woman in her 50s, found that living alone allowed her to focus on her mental health in ways she had neglected for years. She had always been someone who prioritized the needs of others, whether it was her family or friends, and as a result, her own mental well-being had often taken a backseat. However, after moving into her own home, Monica recognized the importance of taking time for herself. She began seeing a therapist, something she had been putting off for years, and she started practicing meditation daily. For the first time in a long while, Monica felt she had the mental space to focus on herself and her emotional needs. Meditation helped her manage stress, while therapy provided her with tools to navigate the challenges in her life. These practices allowed her to build resilience and gain clarity, giving her a sense of peace and empowerment that she had long been missing. George and Monica's stories highlight the powerful connection between living alone and taking charge of both physical and mental health. Without the distractions of other schedules or the constant demands of family life, individuals like George and Monica are able to carve out time for exercise, mental health practices, and self-care. The autonomy of living alone encourages individuals to make choices that promote wellness. Whether it's through regular physical activity, mindfulness, or seeking professional help for emotional well-being, living alone is not just about enjoying solitude, it's about using that time and space to focus on oneself. Cultivating habits that improve both body and mind, whether it's committing to a daily walk or seeking therapy for the first time. The freedom to prioritize one's own health can lead to profound improvements in overall well-being. The decision to take charge of health, both physical and mental, becomes not only a path to better living but also a way to embrace personal growth and vitality. 10. Exploring creativity and cooking. Living alone often offers an unexpected but rewarding opportunity to embrace the art of cooking in a way that suits personal tastes and preferences, without the need to cater to the likes and dislikes of others. Individuals have the freedom to experiment with new ingredients, flavors, and techniques. Cooking becomes not just a necessity, but a creative outlet, an act of self-expression that nourishes both body and soul. Susan, for example, discovered a new passion for cooking after moving into her own home. For years, she had cooked meals that satisfied her family, often preparing dishes based on what everyone enjoyed. But living alone gave her the space to explore her own tastes and experiment with different cuisines. She started trying out new recipes from around the world, delving into cooking styles she had never attempted before. One evening, she might make a rich Italian pasta dish. The next, a spicy Indian curry. The process of cooking became a source of joy for Susan, as she was able to focus on what excited her, without the pressure of pleasing anyone else. Her kitchen became her creative lab, where each meal was an opportunity to try something new, learn, and indulge in the pleasure of good food. Cooking wasn't just about feeding herself anymore. It became a way to connect with different cultures and celebrate the beauty of food as an expression of creativity. On the other hand, Frank approached cooking with a different mindset. He found that living alone allowed him to simplify his meals and develop a routine that suited his busy lifestyle. Rather than spending hours experimenting with complex recipes, he focused on creating meals that were quick, nutritious, and easy to prepare. Frank became a master of making simple, wholesome dishes that didn't require much time or effort, but still provided the nourishment he needed. His go-to meals included a variety of salads, grain bowls, and stir-fries, all made with fresh, seasonal ingredients. While his approach to cooking was more streamlined, it still allowed him to maintain a sense of creativity within the confines of simplicity. The act of preparing these meals became a form of self-care for Frank, as he took pride in ensuring that each dish was both healthy and satisfying. For both Susan and Frank, cooking became more than just about feeding themselves. It became a form of personal expression, creativity, and comfort. Susan's experience was about discovering the joy of cooking which she truly loved, while Frank's was about creating a routine that was efficient yet nourishing. Whether through experimenting with new recipes or simplifying meals for practicality, both found that cooking helped them nurture themselves in ways that went beyond just satisfying hunger. Living alone allows individuals to embrace cooking in ways that are uniquely their own. There is no need to worry about accommodating others' preferences, making it the perfect opportunity to explore new ingredients, try different techniques, or simplify the process to suit one's needs. Cooking, in this way, can become a deeply personal and creative experience, one that not only provides comfort and sustenance but also serves as an expression of individuality. Living alone in old age is often misunderstood as a time of isolation, but in reality, it presents a powerful opportunity to live life on your own terms. It's a time to rediscover your passions, take control of your routines, and make choices that nurture your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. For many, this stage of life becomes a period of self-reflection, where the absence of external demands allows for a deeper connection with oneself. It's an invitation to live authentically, embracing the freedom that comes with independence. In the past, your days might have been filled with the needs of others, raising children, caring for a partner, or meeting the expectations of work and society. But now, living alone offers the space to focus entirely on yourself. It's a time to reconnect with who you truly are, rediscover hobbies that once brought you joy, and explore new interests that you may have never had the time or freedom to pursue. Whether it's taking up a new creative pursuit, establishing a health routine, or simply spending more time in nature, the possibilities are endless. While loneliness may arise from time to time, it is important to remember that it is not the same as solitude. Solitude, when embraced, can bring profound peace and clarity. It's in these quiet moments that you have the chance to reflect, to think deeply, and to find contentment in being with yourself. You learn that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It can be a time of growth, personal exploration, and acceptance. In many ways, this stage of life can be one of the most fulfilling. You have the freedom to make decisions that are right for you, without needing to consider the needs or desires of others. You are no longer constrained by the busy schedules of family life or work. Instead, you have the space to create a life that is completely your own, a life filled with meaning, peace, and joy. It's never too late to live the life you've always dreamed of. Embrace this time of freedom and possibility. Because it's a privilege, celebrate the small moments, the quiet morning coffee, the satisfying routine, the joy of pursuing a hobby you love. These moments are precious, and they are yours to enjoy. Living alone is not something to fear. It's a time to reclaim your life and create a future that reflects who you truly are. You've earned it, and now is the time to truly live.